Hey guys, Marsinger here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so we just had a very hype announcement tweeted out by the JP official Twitter account, announcing the EZAs for Physical Super Vegito and STR Super BUU. So these are two EZAs that were definitely highly anticipated by the community. Obviously they fit the theme of the celebration, so I think a lot of people were very much expecting these EZAs to come in some way, shape or form as part of the celebration. And yes, we are getting them announced today. So obviously we have no info on the Extreme Z battle itself. Remember last year for the anniversary we had Omega and Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta as part of the same event. So technically this could be the same thing, right? Where it's only one Extreme Z battle, or it could be two separate ones. Of course, once we get more info, I will let you guys know. I'll of course do a team building guide for the EZA or EZAs if it does happen to be two of them. So let us go ahead and jump in and take a look at their details. So shout out to Kensei that posted these translations from Reddit. So Physical Super Vegito. His passive is that he reduces damage received by normal attacks by 80% and counters with tremendous power. So this is really, really good, because one of the reasons a lot of people, myself included, were never huge fans of Physical Super Vegito when he first came out, is that obviously he was like, you know, the new Vegito, kind of like an updated version of the AGL Super Vegito, but he got much less damage reduction on his normal attacks, to the point where in the more difficult content, and especially if he had type disadvantage, he would actually be taking damage from normal attacks, like even when he first came out. Whereas obviously AGL Vegito, even to this day, can still tank normal attacks very, very well. So damage reduction 80% is a huge plus. He gets defense 150%. Then he gains 20% attack up to 120% per attack received. So he's going to start off fairly weak, especially if he's having to attack. Like, if you get him on the first rotation and there's no attacks in slot 1, then his first attack is basically going to be with him having like 0 attack in his passive, which is kind of funny. But you get 20% of each attack received. You have to get hit 6 times to fully build up. He has a medium chance to perform a crit, so just straight up 30% chance to crit built in. Obviously for a unit that can counter, that is very, very good, having built-in crit. He gets 1 key up to 3, 30% defense up to 90%, and 10% chance to crit for every 3 attacks received. Now the interesting thing is, it doesn't mention a cap for the 10% chance to crit. So in theory, in a long enough event, if you got hit enough times, unless this does actually have a cap and these translations don't show it, he could actually build up to having a 100% crit chance. So now it kind of feels like counter units have always been units that you want to build with crit in the hidden potential. It kind of feels like you want to change this guy now to potentially being more additional and dodge, because he can build up so much crit for free in his passive. So it's every 3 attacks he receives. So if you think about his first appearance, if you're taking 3 attacks on the first turn, you're going to build up 60% attack in his passive, and then you're going to get an extra 1 key, 30% defense, and 10% chance to crit. So that is very, very good. And his super attack effect is that he does immense damage, and he raises allies' attack and defense for 30% for 1 turn. So he's going to be a very, very good slot 1 unit. He's going to suffer from the typical Super Vegito issues, which is obviously, you know, if he eats a super attack, then he potentially is going to take a pretty large amount of damage. And that's why I think now that he has built-in crit as part of his kit, his best build is going to be giving him a lot of additional, and then honestly dodge, because obviously counter units, they still dodge normal attack, they still counter normal attacks if they dodge them. So this Vegito, unironically, truth must be in heaven right now, because unironically his best build might actually be dodge, and then just throw the rest in additional. He builds up the crit himself. Although I suppose, actually now that I say that, you have to get hit to build up your, like, everything, right? So if he ends up dodging like 60% of the attacks coming his way, he's not going to get built up. So I guess his best build is actually to just go full on additional and then put the rest into crit, because you probably don't want him to be dodging that much. It's actually kind of interesting, because you don't want him to dodge normal attacks, but you absolutely want him to dodge super attacks. So very interesting. Let me know what you guys think of Super Vegito. And then we have BUU. So remember, BUU has 4 forms. So we start off as STR Super BUU. He's got the transformation boost 170. Vegito's obviously Majin Buu Saga. His SA is greatly raise attack for 1 turn, does immense damage, and greatly lowers attack and defense. He gets 1 key and attack and defense 120, an additional defense 120, the more HP remaining the greater the boost. So that's really good on turn 1, getting a full extra 120% defense. Then he gets an extra attack and defense 60% when attacking. So that is actually very good, because as you can see, he doesn't get any defense on his super attack. He only gets greatly raises attack. So he could actually still have fairly solid defense on turn 1 after his initial super. And then as usual, he transforms into specific forms under different conditions. So the first one is the BUU Piccolo, or Buccolo, Buicolo, however you say it. His SA is that he greatly raises defense for 1 turn and does immense damage to the enemy. His passive recovers 20% HP at the start of the turn, attack and defense 140, all allies key 3 and defense 40%, reduces damage received by 50% when in slot 1 or 2, damn, and then an additional 60% defense when in slot 3. 40% attack for all allies, 8% crit chance, and recovers 10% HP at the end of each turn for 6 turns from the first appearance. So that's interesting. The attack 40% is listed in a weird place, because it's at the end here, but it's still in between these two, like in between like the semicolons. So I don't know if that is turn restricted with this first 6 turns, or if that's part of him being in slot 3. It's not laid out in the clearest way, but once we get the proper data download and we actually have all the stuff in game, that will be a little bit clearer. But the BUU Piccolo form definitely seems solid. Then we have the BUU Tanks should be next. He was by far the worst form before the EZA. So the SA is immense damage, seals, lowers attack and defense. He recovers 10% HP at the start of the turn. Key 1, attack 180 and defense 140, plus an additional attack and defense 80% when attacking, and then an additional 80% when the target enemy is in attack down. So as long as you can lower the enemy's attack, he could have some decent stats. But because he doesn't raise defense on super, it still feels like he's going to be the worst one, because some enemies you can't seal, some enemies you can't attack lower, which means he won't be getting the extra 80% attack and defense as well. So I think the BUU Tanks one probably is just going to stay the worst one, right? And then Buuhan, which originally was the best one, and I assume probably still will be, recovers 12% HP at the start of the turn. Key 3, attack and defense 180%. More defense the more HP you have, up to 120%. Get 80% attack when attacking. Perform a guaranteed attack that has a high chance of becoming a super for 6 turns from first appearance, and then great chance to guard, and then high chance. So, oh, that's crazy. So for the first 6 turns, or first 7 turns, you're getting a guaranteed additional that has a 50% chance to become a super, and then you have a 70% chance to guard. And then after 7 turns, you still have a 50% chance to guard. So chance to guard units are pretty annoying, right? We would obviously much prefer guaranteed guard, but originally he didn't have that at all. So that is actually very good. And he greatly raises attack and defense for 3 turns and does immense damage. So if you are getting that additional from his passive, and then of course you could get the hidden potential as well, he can super attack 3 times in 1 turn. So someone can obviously do the calcs, but after a triple super, not only is he going to have incredibly high defense, especially if you started the turn with a lot of HP, yeah, triple super, triple raising his defense, and then he's got a 70% chance to guard if it's still the first, like, 6 turns. So, unironically, if that guard goes off and you get a turn where he gets a double super, let alone a triple super, he is actually going to be tanking very, very nicely. And then, of course, he and many other BUU units having this different healing ability is obviously very, very useful as well. So I definitely want to see There's a way, I've completely forgotten how to do it now, because there is a way that I can open up the wiki, but without it actually changing on the screen, but I don't know how to do that from here. Is it this? Yeah, I believe it is. No, it isn't. Alright, well, let's just go to the wiki then. So we'll go to the wiki, because the only thing that we're not seeing on here is what the forms, like the HP, because it doesn't mention them anywhere, so I'm assuming that they're not going to change. So if we go to Majin Buu Saga and then find STR Super Buu, because I don't know, they could change, right, because they are passive transformation conditions, so they could change with an EZA. It's not like an active skill. So transform starting from the 5th turn. Piccolo as if you were at HP 49% or below. And then the... I'm assuming that did change. I don't know. I can't tell how that studio mode thing works. Maybe it didn't show that the whole time. But anyway, STR Super Buu. 5th turn. Piccolo when HP is 49% or below. Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks when HP is 50% and 79%. Or between those, right? And then Ultimate Gohan when it's 80% or more. So this is the danger zone, right? Between 50% and 79. Because the Bootenks form is definitely still the worst one. It's kind of annoying because, like, when there was the Majin Power mission for I think it was the GT Goku event when it first came out, I constantly had runs where we would get to turn 5, or like at the end of turn 4 the wrong unit would take a super, and then this guy would come onto rotation on turn 5 and transform into Gotenks. And for the actual difficult content, like that it was a mission for, if you got the Gotenks transformation, you literally might as well have just quit and restarted. So Piccolo or Ultimate Gohan are the transformations that you want to get. It'll be interesting to see whether they do change this condition, because obviously they don't mention it in like the tweet anywhere. They just show the details of what he does, but they don't show the HP restrictions. So they definitely seem very interesting. Super Vegito is going to be a defensive beast that can buff allies' attack if he's going off in slot 1, dishing out tons of damage with built-in crit counters. His only problem is going to be eating a super attack to the face. And then Buu seems pretty good. I'm not expecting like crazy great things from him, but Buuhan definitely seems like he could be very effective, because we've been desperately waiting for some Majin Power buffs, and if one of the Part 2 LRs is a new Buu, like a Kid Buu or a Buuhan, then obviously he's going to be very, very useful. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Are you hyped for these guys? Which one do you think seems better? Let me know all your thoughts down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.